Hello there, welcome to the first ever video portion of Creative Calling Podcast. I'm your host, Briana Christine, and of course this will be available for audio portion as well for the podcast. And I'm here to bring to you on camera our next mini-sode activity from my book, Creative Calling Activity Book, which has like a bajillion notes in it, as you can see, and tabs. This has come from the tabs and like infinite color coding has come from feedback that I've received from the book from really great friends who have used the book, and they've given me great feedback about next time breaking the challenges down into sections like personal development, reflection, business growth, things that make it a little bit easier to track. You don't feel like maybe you're just sporadically doing it, which I like doing sporadic things, so it's great for people like me, but I understand that not everybody is like that, and I love that my friends even took their time and their hearts to give that back to me, so I made sure to consider it for the next time I do another great project like this. Also, page numbers, it's going to be a thing. Didn't seem important at the time for somebody sporadic like me, but that will be a thing also. For those of you who don't know me, maybe this is your first time seeing me, maybe it's your first time meeting me. I'm Briana Christine, designer, illustrator. I work right here in this office. This is this place. This is the space where all the magic happens. And of course on my iPad, where I can travel on the go. Shout out to Procreate app and mostly them. Apple Pencil, people who make really awesome Photoshop or Procreate brushes that I use in my everyday workflow. Yep. I am excited because this activity that I'm going to show you today is perfect for on camera, and that was totally an accident. It's even more accident because last week, when I recorded the podcast episode, I realized that I did the activity that I was on in my personal journey and not where we were in the series. So I'm catching up, but the stars aligned because it's perfect for on camera, and I will show you why today. Before I get into that, I do want to say, if you are listening on the episode, please go to my YouTube channel for the podcast, which I will say at the end. And if you are watching and you want to get more audio episodes like this, you can go to iTunes, SoundCloud, or wherever you get your podcasts to get more episodes like this. But here we go. Activity number 18, I think? Yes. Okay. Recall 3 things you have heard haters tell you. Write them down on a separate piece of paper and rip them up. Confession, I took this from somebody because I thought it was brilliant. At the time, I was going through a breakup, and even though I knew it was the right thing for me to do, I had plenty of people telling me this was not the right thing to do, and even though I could see that my life was going on this trajectory that was making me so happy, that people who were seeing me on a regular basis were like, something about you is so different, you're lighting up and you're happy and you're bright and you don't look like you want to hide all day long. So for this, when I got this activity myself, I found it to be particularly helpful, and even though I've already done it once before, I don't think you can do it enough times. So that's one reason why I pushed this book, is even though I didn't reinvent the wheel by creating this book, the magic, confession again, there's no magic in this book. It's whatever magic you give it. It's whatever you make of it yourself, and even though I'm going to be one of a million people that's going to tell you, I'm also not going to be the last person to tell you, so I just encourage you, even if you don't use my book, Creative Calling Activity Book, when you get good advice, when you get something when you need to do something, just do it. Just do it, because otherwise you won't be growing, you won't be moving forward. So, I am going to write 3 things that haters tell me, and I have this like really awesome affirmations calendar that makes really great notes. I just get to use it for scrappy things like this too. What do haters tell me? If I'm thinking about business and I'm thinking about creative activities like we talk about most of the time on this podcast when I'm not distracted by talking about dancey things, I think about people who have told me it's way too hard, the competition is way too fierce. That's a general statement. Specifically, when it comes to me, if I want to get even more specific than that, things that specifically haters have told me is, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are that you think you can just go out there and draw and claim to be some kind of illustrator? And so I'm going to write that down. Who do you think you are? You're not worthy. You're not worthy to be calling yourself an illustrator. That's right. I'm writing it down right here, right now, because I take action right when I do it. So you are not worthy of being a professional illustrator. Now I'm going to do 2 things. You're going to hear me. So I'm just going to use this one piece of paper. I'm going to tear it twice because I'm going to tear it off. Okay? This is what the haters tell me. You're not worthy of being a professional illustrator. Okay? Whatever you do with this, maybe you're listening to this while you're driving on my podcast. Imagine you wrote this down, whatever it is, and just rip it up in your mind. Push it off a cliff. Or if you're like me and you like to rip paper because you have scrap calendar pages, just, you are worthy of being a professional illustrator, designer, creative entrepreneur, whatever. Maybe you don't have it figured out. Maybe you do have to mess it up 1,000 times, but you are worthy of being an illustrator. It's gone. Next, what's another thing haters tell me? How can you charge that? How can you charge that for what you did? Now let me tell you something. If you are really, if you just haphazardly picked a number out of the air, $500, whatever, $1,000, okay, maybe you want to at least think about it, but if you've thought about it, you've maybe been doing this for years or months or weeks, and it doesn't really matter how long you've been doing it, long enough to know you need to charge a certain amount to make your overhead for your costs, for your time, for your value, whatever it is, that number, how can you charge that number? That's how you know. You thought about it. You did the math. You did the work. It's okay to charge your value. Now, if you can politely explain that to somebody and they still don't understand, their loss, not yours. You should never undervalue yourself that way. So I'm gonna write this down. How can you charge that? People who try to tell you that you are taking advantage of them, people who are trying to say that your work is not of value, people who say whatever their reason is. You thought about it. You worked for what you do. You know why you charge what you charge. Haters, if you're driving right now in the car, you're just pushing those pushing those thoughts out of your mind off the cliff, not the haters. I hope that doesn't sound like that's what I'm trying to say, but if you like paper, it's gone. Doesn't it feel good? Weight being lifted. I know for me, when I first did this activity, I was by myself, and it really did, and just felt really great to just shred these pieces of paper. I shredded them into 16 pieces each or something. Yes, I counted even. All right, one more thing. We gotta think of one more thing that haters tell us. I mean, for some of you, you might be thinking of like 1,000. And I'm sure I could think of 1,000 too, but I'm also thinking like what's relatable to you guys. So, how about we go a little personal? Sometimes we can be our own hater, right? We can be our own hater. That sucks, doesn't it? But we can combat this right now. So what's something I've told myself that, like, I think of me at a networking event. I get, this might surprise you because I'm on camera right now, but when I'm talking to people who, like, have this appearance, like, their name tag says like CEO, and they have like a building in downtown San Diego where they run a multi-employee business. It's like, to me, it like blows my mind, and I'm like, how can I even bring myself to talk to this person? I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to talk to them. I'm not skilled enough. So I know there's like a lot of things, but basically I'm saying like I don't have the capability to at least try to talk to them. So what I'm going to write for mine is I am professional enough to talk to anybody that I want to. Now I'm turning this into a positive affirmations. Hold on, let me turn it around. I'm going to write down that I am not capable, because we're going to rip that up. We're getting rid of our hateful thoughts about ourselves. I am not capable of talking to higher ups. For those of you listening, I'm writing right now. I know you can't see me on the video. Right? Like, and doesn't it suck too when we hold on to this? Because who do we always end up talking to? People who, like, we don't even really want to associate ourselves with. Gosh, anybody who knows me is going to be like, oh, Briana, you don't want to associate yourself with me? I don't mean that. I just mean, like, we always talk to who we're comfortable with. Right? And that's fine. You want to have friends. But push yourself, stretch yourself, like people don't get flexible by like doing the same stretches to their same maximum or their same level every day. Like if I stretch here, then I'm just going to stay here forever. If I don't reach, wow, this is really nice to have a video camera to do this. But yeah, if I don't reach, that's what I'm doing for those of you listening. I'm never going to push past where I am. And for those of you who want to see growth, you want to see yourself beyond wherever you are right now, we have to put ourselves in uncomfortable situations. And does that mean we're going to get hurt? Maybe we're going to overstretch. Maybe we're going to push our limits. But yes, it does. But isn't it worth it? Are you worth this? I actually am capable of talking to higher ups. So I'm going to shred this piece of paper and stop hating myself. I feel like a little bit more of my personality is coming out here on camera. Yep, we did it, guys. Dude, I hope that I wasn't the only one that benefited from that. I mean, maybe you guys that watched got some entertainment out of that, but I hope that those of you at home really take this activity seriously and don't let haters get in the way of what you really, really want. I hope you stretch yourselves. And if you want more great activities like this, if you don't know what to do, but you want 50 really good ideas, Creative Calling Activity Book. It's on Amazon. It's on Facebook. I have copies myself. You can just write me a message at the moment. I only have a few left. So if you want to write to me and get one personally from me, I might send a little artwork in it in the mail when I mail it to you. But that's it, guys. That's all I have for you. I'm so glad that any and every one of you took the time to check out my new video. And I'm so thankful for those of you who are already all listening on the podcast. And yeah, Thanks for joining me, guys. And the only other thing I have on my note is any leftover inspiration, which at this point I have none. I feel like I gave you everything I can today. I just really want to encourage you guys to do it. Check out the book, check out the podcast, do whatever you need to do to live your best life today. As always, until next time.